Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafted Up Podcast. Come one, come all, kick on back and enjoy the show, as today we finish our draft grades as we do the NFC draft class for the 2024 NFL Draft. Before that, you can follow us over on Twitter at DraftedUp_pod. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. Search Drafted Up Podcast. You can find us all over in that small little realm of places. You know by now. I'm Theo. That's Nick. What up, Doe?
What up, homie? How you been?
I've been pretty good. I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Getting nice that we're into like a regular schedule now with the podcast. Once a week. Like churning out there was getting exhausting. So now it feels like I'm doing less.
Way less,
I feel like I was trying
to
cram so much. Like we got to do all this. We got to do this before the draft. But now we can kind of ease into it. So last episode, we did AFC draft grades. You can go check that out. Today, we're doing the NFC. As a whole, conference-wise, I thought the NFC did a heck of a lot better than the AFC. Like, I liked a lot of the draft classes.
I'm glad that I'm not alone there. I was going through, and the AFC one, if they listened, I had 2 A's. And I'm not going to say how many I have in the NFC, but it's way, way more than 2. I can tell you that much. So it's completely different. I didn't even realize that until grading the NFC. It's way different.
Yeah. Like I was just like, so I did the NFC last and I'm like, I was like, was I too harsh on the AFC? Like, was I but I wasn't. Like I used the same grade system and it just came out like, I thought the NFC did a fabulous job. So let's start. We'll start in the NFC East. Sounds good. We'll start with the Washington Commanders, the Big Howdies. I should have pulled this up before we started recording. There we go. All right. First round, the Commanders took quarterback Jaden Daniels from LSU. 3 second-round picks. They took Jerzon Newton, the interior defensive lineman from Illinois, Mike Sanristil, the corner from Michigan, and Ben Sinnott, the tight end from Kansas State. 2/3, Brandon Coleman, offensive lineman, TCU, Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver, Rice. 2 5th-rounders, Jordan McGee, linebacker, Temple, and Dominique Hampton, safety from Washington. And with their final pick in the 7th round, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the edge rusher from Notre Dame. What did you give the Commanders?
I gave the Commanders an A-. Here's one of the A's in the NFC. I love the fit with Daniels. I had him ranked as my quarterback too. He's got a good set of receivers in Washington, and a little nice backfield with Eckler and Robinson. They crushed it in the 2nd round, dude. Johnny Newton and Mikey Sanderstill, dogs. They got your boy Ben Sinnott as well in the 3rd. I thought he was a little bit early, but hey, man, you had him high.
Oh, Sinnott was also the 2nd.
That's what I meant. I meant in the 2nd.
Oh,
yeah, they crushed it in the 2nd. That's what I meant. All 3 guys in the 2nd. But a little bit high, but
all 3 Theo guys.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how you graded that Washington, because their 2nd round, every single one was Theo. And I'm like, I'm very interested to see how TJ graded that Washington. I thought Brandon Coleman was a little bit of a reach, but I get the pick. He's got high upside. Luke McCaffrey was also a little bit early at, I think he went 99 or close to
100.
100. But he's got solid hands. He's always going to be open. I think he's going to help Daniels a lot, especially with the other 2 receivers in Washington. Jordan McGee, also a solid pick at linebacker. He stood out as one of the few linebackers I actually liked in the class. Dominique Hampton's also a nice little guy. He plays safety and linebacker. And Javonte Jean-Baptiste, good 7th-round pick. Washington nailed it out of the park. They did everything they needed to.
I gave it a straight A.
Ooh. Okay. This might be one of the few that you have higher than I do. I've usually just been a little bit higher than you have, but I'm glad to hear that.
Luke McCaffrey in the 3rd round is probably the sole reason.
Luke McCaffrey didn't go in the 3rd, did he?
Yeah, 3rd round.
Yeah, 3rd. Yes, I thought you meant 2nd.
Yeah. McCaffrey in the 3rd is probably the sole thing holding them back from having the best draft class in my eyes. It was way too early. Way too early. Like,
see, that pick doesn't bother me. I get why he went. He's gonna be a lot better pro than he was. He's gonna be good.
We'll see. I love Johnny Newton. He was my second rated defensive player in the draft, and they got him at 36. Mike Sanristril, you guys know how I feel about that dude. That dude is a menace, and he's going to bring attitude to that Commanders back. Like, Dan Quinn's going to love him. Ben Sinnott, that's my guy at tight end. Like, I kept saying it, like, I don't like comps, but like Chris Cooley was my guy for him, and he ended up in Washington. Like, it couldn't have been more of a fit.
I didn't even realize that. I did not realize that that's insane. That's awesome.
It was meant to be.
I'm very interested to see how that works out in Washington. I think it's going to be a good fit.
Their first 5 picks, Daniels, Newton, Sanderstill, Sinnott, Coleman, like all in my top 500, I would hope.
I'd hope so.
All in my top 100. They were tied with, I think, Baltimore for most guys in my top 100 drafted as a whole. But I think all 5 are going to be contributors or starting, like, right off the bat. Jean-Baptiste is fine. He's an athletic, developmental guy. I don't know if he even makes the team. But, like, McCaffrey in the third, when they could have had Javon Baker or Troy Franklin or Malik Washington in that spot, it would have been a home run. But overall, Jordan McGee, super athletic linebacker, like, Dan Quinn's going to love that. He could sit behind and kind of learn from Bobby Wagner, who's also there. Like, great mentorship. Dominique Hampton's going to be a really good special team player. But yeah, big fan of Washington, minus that Luke McCaffrey pick. But McCaffrey does kind of have that similar Curtis Samuel style to him. I imagine they're going to move him around a bit. Like, I get it, but there was 6-7 receivers I would have picked over him.
I agree that I had all of those guys and more ranked over McCaffrey at this point, but I think he fits Washington's scheme so perfectly. So I actually like the pick. I don't mind it.
I did not.
But hey, man, I told you a month ago that I have this weird feeling that Washington is going to be way, way better than everyone is expecting.
Oh, Dan Quinn's a good coach.
I think that they could win the division. And that is going to be one of my hot takes through the whole summer. But Washington could win this division. And I'm a Giants fan. We do not repeat division winners. It doesn't happen. So
they get blessed with that last place schedule. And Dan Quinn, like, I get the flat, like, people want to pick on him because they blew that Super Bowl lead, but he was a really good head coach in Atlanta. I think he's going to bring a mindset to Washington, new ownership. I think they've done a great job this offseason. I can't wait to see what they do with the guys they brought in. I'm lower on Daniels than you are, but still, like, franchise quarterback, he brings this dynamicness to the offense that, like, they haven't had since RG3. So, like, I can't wait to see what Washington does when they put this all on the field.
If I'm not mistaken, they won the division RG3's rookie year, I believe.
They did.
So, hey, man. History does repeat itself, so just calling that out.
All right, let's move on to your New York Football Giants.
Yes, sir.
Minimal draft, so this will be a quick read through. First round, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU. Second round, Tyler Nubin, safety, Minnesota. Third round, Andrew Phillips, cornerback from Kentucky. I almost called him a corner safety. Fourth round, Theo Johnson, tight end, Penn State. Fifth round, Tyrone Tracy Jr., running back, Purdue. And sixth round, Darius Muasau, the linebacker from UCLA. I'll go first, and that way you can kind of take the floor. A-. Okay. I thought the Giants did a really good job with the minimal draft capital that they had. I think 5 of their 6 picks were excellent and good value. Like, Neighbors was my third player overall. They got him at 6, and they got Daniel Jones, a weapon. Like, the QB smoke was there. Like, yeah, they wanted Drake May, but I think that's the only quarterback they wanted. And they stayed put. They took the guy they needed to. Newman in the second round, he's going to slide right into Xavier McKinney's role on that defense. Going to do a great job. Andrew Phillips just gives them a dog at corner. And him and Deontay Banks on the outsides with
Jeff Kiss, baby.
Cordell flat in the nickel. But, like, Tyrone Tracy, I low-key think at the end of the season, he's the running back 1 in New York. I think he's got a similar skill set to Devin Singletary, and I think he's going to eventually take over. Like, Devin Singletary's not going to move the needle, but I think Tyrone Tracy could. I think he's going to start off as a returner, and that's something you guys haven't had in years, a threat in the return game.
For sure.
I think Muasau contributes as special teams. Theo Johnson, though, I don't get the pick. Like, athletic testing wise, was super. Doesn't show on tape. Like, this pick sort of felt like a panic pick. Like, we got to pick an athletic style tight end just in case Darren Waller decides to retire. And Theo Johnson fits that role that Darren Waller, like, play style wise. But yeah, A minus, though, I thought with the 6 picks, they did a killer job.
Throughout the grading process, I had it at an A minus, and I dropped it to a B plus. Just based off the minimal, there wasn't a bulk to it, but the picks we did have, we nailed them out the park, dude. And it's gonna come off biased. I loved every pick. Theo Johnson was my least favorite pick of the draft, but like you said, Darren Waller hasn't committed to the year, so we need to have a backup plan. And it's not Daniel Bellinger, as much as I love Daniel Bellinger. So I'm hoping Theo Johnson can develop into that role of Darren Waller if, God forbid, Darren Waller does decide to retire.
Daniel Bellinger is your prototypical really good number 2 tight end. He's a good blocker, can receive,
he gets
but you don't want him to be the guy.
No, good. No, for sure. But we went out and got Daniel Jones an actual weapon, which he needs in order to actually to see if he's the guy. Because look, we made the decision with Daniel Jones. If anyone's trying to say that we should have drafted a quarterback, they don't understand how the cap works in any type of football. We can't move off of Danny Jones for this year. I'm not going to be stuck with him and a quarterback this year just for that quarterback to not have a solid team this year. We went out and got every spot that we needed except quarterback. But we have Daniel Jones. If, God forbid, Daniel Jones fails, whatever quarterback we get next year, he slides into a team that is very capable of supporting that kid. And I'm not going to come here and preach Daniel Jones. I've never supported Daniel Jones. Even the year he got us to the playoffs and beat you guys, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, the crazy thing was, he single-handedly beat the Minnesota Vikings.
100%, dude.
We couldn't stop Daniel Jones. It was insane.
Yeah, it was
we forced you guys to pay him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But getting McKinney's, thanks. I appreciate it. Getting McKinney's replacement, huge. Tyron Newman can literally slide in and play multiple safety spots just like McKinney did. Drew Phillips is going to play a nice outside-inside role. He plays both, so him and Banks are going to be, it's going to be dope. I love it.
Banks was my CB1 last year. Like, dude. I'm all in on that CB duo.
They're dogs, baby. You did mention Tyrone Tracy. As much as I do love him, dude, I think it's going to be Singletary's team, dude, all year. I'm low-key pretty hype on Singletary. I think he's going to have a nice year.
I've been in on Singletary to the Giants since last year.
The whole process.
I think he'll be fine, but like I think Tyrone Tracy's going to eat into that lineup.
I do agree. He's going to take carries, and I think he's going to be the primary number 2 change of pace back.
Like, especially if you guys are bad. If you guys are bad, then I think we're going to see a lot of TTJ, baby.
That is true. He definitely brings a dynamic to the offense that I love. I love our draft, dude, though. We hit all the holes, and I'm so glad we did not walk out with that bum-ass quarterback from Michigan, bro. I'm not even going to say that bum's name.
All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming up here, first round, Quinyon Mitchell, corner, Toledo. Second round, Cooper DeJean, corner, Iowa. Third round, Jalix Hunt, edge rusher, Houston Christian. Fourth round, Will Shipley, running back, Clemson. 3 fifth-round picks, Aeneas Smith, wide receiver, running back, Texas A&M. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker, Clemson. Trevor Keegan, guard, Michigan. And 2 sixth-round picks, Johnny Wilson, wide receiver, Florida State. And Dylan McMahon, the interior lineman from North Carolina State.
Damn, bro.
What'd you give the birds?
You just named a ton of guys that I love, and it breaks my heart, man. I gave the birds an A+, bro. I honestly don't think there's any other grade you could have gave them. Just based off their draft class.
I didn't give them an A+.
I don't know, dude. They're walking out with 2 guys in my top 10 being Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. My 2 top defensive guys in the draft. Their secondary just got stacked, dude. Like, through and through. However they use Cooper DeJean's going to be crazy, dude. And I'm actually in to watch it because it's going to be fun to watch. Him and Quinyon Mitchell are going to, oh my God, I'm so upset. And then it only got worse in the third when they got probably my favorite developmental defensive prospect in Jalix Hunt. It was a miserable process watching the Eagles draft. I do not like the Will Shipley pick, though. That was my least favorite pick, but I get it. He fits their style nice. It's almost like the Luke McCaffrey pick. He's got gorgeous hands. Nia Smith's a real good Eagles pick. We had it in our mock, which was dope. He's going to bring aspects to the return game. Jeremiah Trotter's a legacy pick. The fans loved it, so it only added a little bit to the draft. Tyler Keegan and Dylan McMahon at 172 and 190 are both late round values. I think they're both going to be really good. Dylan McMahon going 190 is only a spot before Jason Kelce was drafted. He was drafted 191, and they're almost identical.
I hate
it's
the comp.
It's insane. Yeah, but it's there.
It irritates me.
And they got fucking Johnny Wilson, dude.
Johnny Wilson, 6th round.
Which is crazy. 6'7", 238. Who's gonna use him better than Philly? Probably no one. How did all of these people just land in Philly's lap? I don't understand. It's insane. And then they walked out with a on everyone. They walked out with a third, a fourth, and a fifth next year. So they have 10 picks next year, 9 or 10 next year. It's stacked. I don't. If you don't say A or A plus, dude, I don't know how you doing that.
The Philadelphia Eagles had my third best draft in the NFC. Fourth overall. It was an A.
Okay. Well, you got an A. So at least so I'm not mad at that. So.
But yeah, Howie Roseman has to have dirt on every single team. Like, he's just calling up like, hey, you guys don't want to take Quinyon Mitchell. Like, I heard he was convicted of murder. And they're like, whoa, like, and he just photoshops fake articles. Like, it's like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. He's just like super like into web design and just making these fake websites that they show up on Google searches. And teams are like, whoa, got to pull this guy off the draft board. And then the Eagles just take him. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I accused Quinyon Mitchell of murder. He did not, obviously. But they walked away with my CB1 and CB2 somehow. I don't know how Cooper DeJean falls to round 2. I don't know how Johnny Newton falls to round 2, but they did. And they both end up in this division. Lucky you.
Kill me.
I think James Bradbury's days as an Eagle are probably done. I think it's going to be Quinyon Mitchell and Slay. I think Cooper DeJean puts Avonte Maddox's future in question. I think he's going to be the nickel back and maybe plays passing roles, and Reed Blankenship goes to the bench. Jalix Hunt falls into the perfect situation. It's a classic Eagles year ahead of time pick. He gets to sit, and eventually he's going to take over for Brandon Graham. They got the feel-good story, like you said, in Trotter Jr., and as much as I didn't necessarily care from him, good value. And
Great value.
I think that makes a Nakobe Dean situation really make or break for him. If Nakobe Dean struggles, the Philly media and the Philly crowd are going to be calling for Trotter Jr.
Yeah.
So Nakobe Dean could be on thin ice. Johnny Wilson in round 6. What a get. Like, he's such a unique tool. Like, I say move him to tight end all the time, but like the Eagles might be able to play him as like an inline tight end and also use him as a boundary receiver. Ania Smith, I wasn't super high on, but I like what he brings. He got a little running back skills, little receiver skills. Like I've like you said, we mocked him to Philly in our 7-rounder, and like that I controlled the Eagles, and like I just saw him and I'm like, this guy is an Eagle. Like, they would love him. Keegan, great value. I'm not as high on Dylan McMahon. I think the media needs to cool it with the Kelce. He's not Travis Kelce. I don't think he's ever going to be a starter, like a full-time starter. I think he's a good spot guy, depth piece. Will Shipley, though, is a bum. I had a 7th round grade on him. 7th round. I do not get it. I don't know if I'm missing something. Like, I've tried to watch. Like, I don't get Will Shipley. I think he's he's probably the replacement for Kenny Gainwell down the line, but I don't think he's an upgrade to Gainwell. I'd much rather Kenny Gainwell. But if anyone's going to prove me wrong, it's going to be the Eagles, and Will Shipley's going to be an RB1 somehow. I just don't get it. But Philly got great value almost across the board. It was an A.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Philly killed it.
Cooper DeJean.
I love the word. I love the prospect, and it kills me.
That he's in Philadelphia. All right, let's move to the final team here in the NFC East, and that is the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
The boys.
First round, Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. Second round, Marshawn Nealon, edge rusher, Western Michigan. 2/3, they got Cooper Beebe, the interior lineman from Kansas State, and Maris Luafau, the linebacker from Notre Dame. Fifth round, Kalen Carson, corner, Wake Forest. Sixth round, Ryan Flournoy, wide receiver from Southeast Missouri State. And 2 seventh-rounders, Nathan Thomas, the offensive lineman from Louisiana, and the interior defensive lineman from Auburn, Justin Rogers. I gave the Dallas Cowboys a B-. Guyton has tremendous upside, but Dallas to me was more in need of a play now guy at left tackle, not a developmental guy. And my Cowboys dude, Bobby, he tells me Guyton's starting left tackle day one. Like, that's what it looks to be, which is insane. Your mic.
Oh no, my mic's muted. That's terrifying. Because he didn't play left tackle in college. And he didn't play it. So he's gonna have so much adjustment.
I'm so concerned about that. Like, I would much rather see them slide Tyler Smith, who they drafted to be the replacement for Tyrone, slide him to left tackle, start Cooper Beebe at left guard, and sit Guyton behind Terrence Steele, who's not great at right tackle, and then Guyton can take over at right tackle. But I looked at our lads. It confirmed what Bobby was telling me. Guyton's going to be the left tackle. It looks like Cooper Beebe's going to compete at center, so he could be the starting center for the Cowboys.
I did hear that.
We'll see what happens there. I like the Marshawn Nealon pick in the second round. I like his upside, but I thought they needed more of an explosive edge rusher, not like the Marshawn Nealon, more power-based. But Marshawn Nealon feels like a Mike Zimmer guy, and Mike Zimmer, Vikings old head coach, he's back in Dallas. Leofau, fine value, overdrafted in my eyes, but again, he's a guy that it really feels like a Mike Zimmer pick. Like, he fits the Zimmer style linebacker. I love the Cooper Beebe pick. I think he's going to start somewhere, whether it's guard or center. Kalen Carson in the 5th round gives Dallas a dude who's capable of step in if Diggs gets hurt or Bland goes down. Flournoy, Thomas, fine value picks, but like, my biggest gripe with the Cowboys, besides the Tyler Guyton thing, is like, how do you not draft a running back?
Bingo. That's insane. There's no way that you don't walk out of this draft with a running back, and Dallas somehow managed to do that. I don't understand.
They got Zeke, baby.
Don't get me wrong. I think I'm way higher on Zeke than most people are, and I'm pretty excited for it, baby. I'm here for it. But dude, you're right. You nailed it right on with Dallas draft. It's a meat and potatoes, John, they got going on. But Guyton, not the guy they need right now. I would prefer them to start him at right over Steele, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I do like Nealon. I had him ranked at 56, so a little bit higher than 63. So I like the value. BB I had ranked a little bit lower than consensus, but I do like the fit in Dallas, and he's going to make a nice interior lineman for him. Liafu, the linebacker, I had him as my first linebacker out of the top 100, so I thought it was a little bit of a reach, but it's a Dallas pick, so like you said. Keelan Carson, I do like the fit. I do like the depth. He has nice versatility to the secondary. And their 6th and 7th, I really didn't see much upside.
I like Nathan Thomas as he could play swing tackle. He could play interior. He's a perfect I think he's backup a good lineman.
I have that. He could be a nice kick inside and be a nice, decent backup. That's what I have down for Nathan Thomas.
But if Dallas drafts a running back, we're looking maybe at a B+.
I agree.
But like Guyton, like I said, great upside. It scares the living crap out of me that he's going to be their starting left tackle from day one. But we'll see if it works. Cooper Beebe, I hope he does start at center. Like, dude gets to play next to Zach Martin. How cool is that going to be? And that just makes him better. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's move.
I was going to say, if they would have went running back at 87, I think we would have been talking about a way different draft class here.
Yeah. Let's move on to the NFC North, who had the first pick of the draft. and that's the Chicago Bears. Um, First round, 2 picks, both in the top 10. Caleb Williams, quarterback USC, and Rome Odunze, wide receiver from Washington. Third round, Karan Amagaji, offensive tackle from Yale. Fourth round, Troy Taylor, punter from Iowa. And then their final pick, Austin Booker, the edge rusher from Kansas. What'd you give the Bears?
I gave it an A. And they could have drafted 3 people for it. Doesn't matter what they drafted. They walking out with an A. The history of the Chicago Bears changed on draft night, and it's gonna be weird. They have the first ever franchise quarterback in Bears history in my eyes. He's going to change the Bears. And then they walked out with my second-ranked receiver in the draft, Rome. I love it, dude. Keenan Allen's only there for a year. He's going to be a dope number 3 receiver. He could slide beautifully into the number 2 when Keenan Allen leaves next year. They got a nice developmental tackle in Kieran Amagaji. I can't say that guy's fucking last name.
Amagaji.
That's insane. That's not going to happen. Very good developmental prospect. Tory Taylor, the punter, he went early, but dude, I love his leg, dude. He's awesome. He flips the field for the Bears. His leg's beautiful to watch. And then I love the Bears trading back in that get Austin Booker at 144. I thought that really solidified their draft grade. I loved Austin Booker's value at 144. I had him ranked 102. Mm-hmm. A for the Bears, dude. They knocked it out the park. They knew what they were doing.
The Bears had my best draft class.
Whoa.
They were my number 1 draft class. It was
Let's
an A.
go.
I don't do A pluses because nothing's perfect. They drafted a punter in the 4th round. There's my knock on them. I have a strict no kicker or punter before the 6th. Rule.
6th? That's insane.
Get out of here.
Nah.
But like
game
you said,
changers, baby. Game changers.
Yeah, they got that in Caleb Williams and Roman Dunze.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, for sure.
The Bears have been historically like a great franchise. They've never had a franchise quarterback like what was it, Jay Cutler in our lifetime. Jim McMahon. Then you got to go way back to when people who had no idea what podcasts are. That's their quarterback. But yep, Odunze, he's going to be their future 1 or 2. I love DJ Moore, but 1A, 1B there, like Keenan, and he gets to sit behind Keenan Allen, so he gets to be real easy. The Bears' offense can be dangerous, though. Caleb Williams will be their first 4,000-yard passer, and he could have that 10 games into the season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Austin Booker,
I'm not going to confidently say he's going to get 4,000 this year. There's a good chance, but it might not happen.
Austin Booker, super raw prospect. He was in my top 100. They got him at 122. Great get there. I love Amagaji. Bears fan also. So that was super cool for him to get there. So he can kind of sit and the Bears, they like their tackles, but neither of them are super strong. So Amagaji could be the future left tackle.
They got Booker at 144. They got
144. Okay.
Yeah, they picked their punter at 122.
Yeah, that's it's in front of me, so that's why I read 122. It was under my least favorite pick, but across the board they did great. Way to go, Chicago. I hate the Bears, but I hope for Bears fans and for the NFL and the franchise it works out and it hits because Chicago's a great sports market and they deserve.
That's the thing, dude. Bears fans deserve this, dude. And I really, honest to God, hope it works out for him, dude. I got nothing against the Bears like you do, dude. So I kind of hoping it's going to be fun to watch, dude. Especially with Rome, dude. Woo!
All right. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. 2 first-round picks. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy, Michigan. And edge rusher Dallas Turner, Alabama. 4th round, Kyrie Jackson, corner from Oregon. 2 6th-round picks, Walter Rouse, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. Kicker, Will Reichard from Alabama. 2 7th-round picks, Michael Juergens, center, Wake Forest. And Levi Drake Rodriguez, the interior defensive lineman from Texas A&M Commerce.
I'll lead it off here so you can get the back end of it. Man, I gave him a C. Don't hate me. You guys only had to trade up 1 spot to land McCarthy, which is ideal for you guys. You guys didn't have to sell the house like everyone thought you would. I have never been a supporter of JJ McCarthy, but he landed in the only spot that I think he can possibly succeed. So if he happens to fail in Minnesota, he's not going to work anywhere else. So this is not going to happen. But you guys landed him. Hopefully he sits this year behind Arnold. I hope to God he sits. I know people don't want him to. I think it's in your best interest if he does. But then you guys traded up a whole bunch of picks to get Dallas Turner at 17, which I love Dallas Turner, but you guys gave up a lot, man. I like Kyrie Jackson way more than you do. He's got good NFL size, good speed. He just needs to be more consistent. Walter Rouse is a decent pick. He's a top 200 guy. He's going to make a good rotational lineman. Kicker's a kicker at that spot, so I get it. He's got very good experience. He's going to kick.
We have no kicker. John Parker Romo was our kicker.
But no, that's what I'm saying. So it's a fine pick. He wasn't my top ranked kicker, but he's fine. But only you guys have like a first and then a fifth next year, dude. And that that doesn't matter. That terrifies me.
We're gonna have a third. We will get a third round comp for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a first, a third, and 2 fifths.
But that's not a lot for having a smaller draft this year.
But here we go.
It worries me, man.
Will Reichard kicker? It's whatever. Least favorite pick. Even though we needed a kicker, I still
that's
don't
your least
like
favorite pick over Kyrie Jackson. I heard nothing but shit on Kyrie Jackson all draft day.
I was only bitching about Kyrie Jackson because Malik Washington was on the board, and that is my guy.
That dude fell to the fucking sixth.
Yeah, I know. It was disrespectful. Kyrie Jackson went, what, 108, 106?
Something like that, yeah.
He was 103 on my big board. So, value-wise, it's right where I had him ranked.
And there was nothing but bitching all Saturday.
Again, Malik Washington was on the board, and him with Jefferson and Addison, like,
I get it, but still.
6 to 12, baby. But Kyrie Jackson was a fine pick. He is a Brian Flores corner through and through. I think he'll be fine. Walter Rouse, super nasty. He had a quote where they asked him about pancaking guys, and he's like, I don't pancake dudes. I like to waffle them where I knock them down and I step on them. That dude is mean, vicious. I love that attitude. Great backup piece. Juergens, Rodriguez, whatever, they're just filler guys. Like Juergens could make the team as the backup to
I like
Garrett
Rodriguez
Bradley.
A little bit more. It's pretty good value. I think he's going to be a sneaky pick if he makes the roster.
I mean, I think he will too because we're incredibly weak at interior defensive line. But I'll go to the big picks here. I'm going to talk about Dallas Turner. If you look at the trade from the aspect of picks and how to move up, sure, we gave up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But look at it as to where Dallas Turner may have been on the Vikings draft board. If they had Dallas Turner ranked defensive player 1, they didn't give up that much then to get him at 17 from 23.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I look at it as, if you look at it from a value point of picks, sure, it was too much. But if you look at it from value point of player, I don't think we gave up enough for Dallas Turner.
Was he the second or third defensive player picked?
He would have been second. Latu went 15.
Yeah, Latu went 15. I know that. I didn't know if one went.
I don't 16. Think someone went 16.
I don't remember who went 16.
Off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, it was Byron Murphy. So he was the third defensive player.
Okay.
But Dallas Turner with Brian Flores, vicious. Like, the look on Kevin O'Connell's face, if you can find the video of them telling him they're getting Dallas Turner, he was, like, shocked. He was like, what? So clearly, like, I think he was the Vikings defensive player 1. And they got him at 17. I think he's going to be an instant impact. Him and Jonathan Grenard, vicious with Brian Flores. Like, I'm so stoked to see what Dallas Turner does. JJ McCarthy, QB1, the best quarterback ever that I've ever watched to be drafted to Minnesota at pick 10. We've never drafted a quarterback at that spot, so that's why I can say that.
You're lucky, because I watched Ponder. Christian Ponder's better than that. No, he's not.
no, he's not. Stop it. JJ McCarthy, this is the perfect situation from him. I've been on record saying that whatever quarterback Kevin O'Connell and crew bring in, I think is going to do fine, and I trust them in developing a quarterback. I love the leadership aspect. I like the intangibles that JJ McCarthy has, and I hope it develops more. Like he's got the tools. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And I think he will. And I do think he starts this year. I don't think he starts week 1.
Oh,
But
good God.
I think he starts the majority of the games for the Vikings this year.
Godspeed, brother.
I ended up giving it a B+ from like Dallas Turner. We got our franchise quarterback, hopefully, in JJ McCarthy. Had to take the shot. We had Sam Darnold, only real quarterback on the roster. We got a franchise defensive player in Dallas Turner. We got a corner who fits the scheme in Kyrie Jackson, and then potential depth pieces after that. But from a minimal standpoint, it B+. I think the guys at the top are the real selling point here, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. You were a little bit higher on McCarthy, so I not incredibly high on him, but this is the landing spot for him. So I'm pulling for him, dude. I have no ill feelings towards him. Obviously, I just don't see what everyone else seen. But hey, man, I hope it works out. Godspeed.
All right, let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. First round, Jordan Morgan, the offensive lineman, Arizona. 2 second-round picks, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker, Texas A&M, and Javon Bullard, safety from Georgia. 2 thirds, Marshawn Lloyd, running back, USC, and Tyron Hopper, linebacker, Missouri. 4th round, Evan Williams, safety from Oregon. 2 fifths, Jacob Monk, center from Duke, and Katan Aladapo, safety from Oregon State. 6th round, Travis Glover, offensive tackle, Georgia State. 2 sevenths, Michael Pratt, quarterback, Tulane, and Kalen King, corner from Penn State. I gave the Packers a B. The media loved the Packers draft. Like, everywhere I see in the Packers, all I heard was people raving about it. I thought it was okay. I don't care much for the Jordan Morgan pick. Like, I get it. It was a need. But Graham Barton was on the board. I would have taken him. I like the Edgerrin Cooper pick. Green Bay loves real fast athletic linebackers. I think he's going to be a great fit there. Marshawn Lloyd's the perfect complement to Josh Jacobs. A.J. Dillon can smell his way out at this point. Kalen King, round 7. What a wild thing. He was a former, people thought he was maybe CB1 of this draft class. It's summer, and they got him in the 7th. If his 2022 tape is more of what he is, that's a great value. And if it's not, it's a 7th round pick. So be it. Michael Pratt as well.
I cannot believe.
I don't know what happened.
I cannot believe he fell that far to the 7th,
but
dude.
What a great backup for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd rather go Barton over Jordan Morgan. The Tyron Hopper pick in the 3rd was real confusing because you just took a super athletic fast linebacker and Edgerrin Cooper the round before, and then you're going to pick another one? And then I had an undrafted grade on Evan Williams and Jacob Monk. So, like, I just thought, like, the ordering of their draft was weird. Katan Aladapo, I did have a 5th round grade on, so he went right where he should. Javon Bullard in the 2nd. Good get there with Cooper, like, good defensive pieces. Like, I think their top 3 picks are the real selling point, just like Minnesota. I don't think there's a lot of depth in the middle. I don't think you're going to have a lot of hits. And Kalen King and Michael Pratt, though, could really boom this draft class 3 years from now if they hit.
Yeah, I gave him a B-. So just a little bit worse than you did. The Jordan Morgan pick's fine. He has more of a tackle, plain offensive tackle appeal than Graham Barton, but I would not take him over Graham Barton. They're not going to happen. Edgerrin Cooper, I love. He's going to make a huge impact on that defense. Great fit. Big fan. And I do get needing safety help, but they way over-addressed it, dude. It doesn't make sense on what they did. Like you said, Evan Williams, I did not really care for. 7th round grade for me. But I do like the other safeties being Karan Aladapo.
Katan Aladapo.
Yep. And then Javon Bullard. Great picks. Sure. Tyron Hopper. Horrendous pick.
Didn't get it. I don't get it at all.
Glover's a fine pick. He has nice depth to the room. Michael Pratt fell like crazy. Doesn't make sense. And like you said, Keelan Cole, 2022 tape, awesome. 2023 tape did not develop at all.
No, down and digressed, if anything.
Oh, yeah. Like,
it was really bad in 2020. I also think he could move to safety. So, like, they might have drafted 4 safeties and
true.
Signed Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, but yeah, his weakness is in 2022. You really seen him in 2023 as well. So he doesn't seem that he's improving at all. But It's seventh
Worth a
round pick,
flyer in
so
the
yeah,
seventh round.
exactly. It doesn't matter. But a B-. I like some of it. I couldn't really go above much more than that.
The middle of it was so like after round 2 to round 6, just like it
it's rough.
didn't make like Travis Glover, like you said, fine developmental offensive tackle, but like the 4 with Evan Williams, 3 with Tyron Hopper.
I forgot
Jacob
Marshawn
Monk.
Lynch. I do like the Marshawn.
Marshawn Lynch is a good pick.
I forgot to bring that up. I skipped right over him. That's a fine pick. He's a good change of pace back. With
Get out of town, AJ Dillon.
Hopefully, dude. That guy should have been gone a long ass time ago. That guy's a bum.
Yeah. All right. So now, final team in the North, the Detroit Lions. First round, Terrion Arnold, corner from Alabama. Second round, Enos Rakestraw Jr., corner, Missouri. Fourth round, 2 picks here, Giovanni Manu, offensive tackle from British Columbia, and Sione Vaki, the safety running back combo from Utah. 2 6th-round picks, Mekhi Wingo, interior defensive lineman, LSU, and Christian Mahogany, the interior offensive lineman from Boston College. Another A for me, the Detroit Lions. Ton of hits. They revamped their secondary, much like Philadelphia did, and locked up their starting spots for the next handful of years in Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold, who both just feel like Dan Campbell guys, especially Rakestraw. Like, Dan Campbell has to love that guy, and then they got him at 61. Terrion Arnold, what a moment for him. He got to be drafted in the host of the draft, so he got huge pop. Super cool moment. Sione Vaki, I like him a lot more as a safety than I do a running back, but it looks like he's going to be a running back there and maybe a returner, so it'll be interesting to see how he's utilized going forward. Mekhi Wingo and Christian Mahogany, insane value in the 6th round. And Giovanni Manu, I don't want to hate on the pick because it's such a cool story. Like, dude from Canada getting drafted, but the 4th round was a little rich for my liking. Plus, I believe they traded up for him as well. So that's my real only knock. But hey, maybe he's really good at football. I saw no tape really on Gio Manu.
Yeah, I couldn't really give much. What I have down for him, I don't know much about him, but I can dig the pick. He's a huge dude, 6'7", 350. Let's see if he can transition to the NFL.
I understand why the Lions like him.
I get it. I gave him a B+, so not quite an A, but right on the outside. Huge upgrade to the secondary, Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw. I love them both. They got their 2 corners for the next years. They're going to be set. Dan Campbell's going to love the energy. Vaki, as you said, it was a fun announcement at running back, but I don't really think you could play him there. I don't think that's going to work out too well, but let's see. Let's fucking just let it ride. The Mekhi Wingo pick at 189, I loved it. I had him ranked at 99. He was a top 100 guy for me. And Christian McConaughey is also good value, good depth guy at the offensive line. Real good draft for Detroit. They hit on a lot of spots. Detroit shelled out for the draft, dude. It was awesome. It was fun to watch.
Detroit as a city killed it. Like,
oh yeah, for sure, dude.
They really brought an insane atmosphere at the draft. All right, we'll move on to the NFC South here. First up, the Carolina Panthers. First round pick, Xavier Legette, who they traded up for, wide receiver, South Carolina. Second round, Jonathan Brooks, running back, Texas. Third round, Trevin Wallace, linebacker, Kentucky. Fourth round, Jatavian Sanders, tight end, Texas. Fifth round, Chow Smith Wade, corner, Washington State. Sixth round, Jaden Crumedy, interior defensive lineman, Mississippi State. And seventh round, Michael Barrett, linebacker, Michigan. Where'd you go with Carolina?
I gave him a C. I really wasn't a fan of Carolina's draft. I do love Legette. I want nothing but the best for the dude, but Carolina scares the shit out of me, dude. Bryce Young, I don't think is the guy. They probably have one of the craziest owners in the NFL. He's throwing money and demanding trades.
He's going to come to the podcast and take my hat.
I, honest to God, think he's a huge problem in Carolina, and I think it's just constantly getting worse. I don't mind the Jonathan Brooks pick. He could be their future running back. And I did see they signed Penny.
They did sign Rashad Penny. So
it kind of could seem like Miles Sanders' days are numbered in Carolina if they want to take the little cap hit from cutting him.
I think he's Dunzo. Bunzo.
Kind of looks it. I don't like the Trevin Wallace pick. He wasn't a top 150 guy for me, so taking him at 72 is a crazy-ass reach. I do like Jontavius Sanders, though. I think he's a nice little get with Legette. They're putting decent weapons around Bryce Young. I hope it works. I want to see him succeed. I don't think it's gonna happen, but who am I? I do like the Chow Smith Wade pick as well. He's a nice, decent corner pickup. See if he can develop. But yeah, it was like a C. Wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, Trevin Wallace. He was in my top 5 linebackers, if I'm not mistaken. But he at 72 was. He's a lot of. He doesn't react. He more has to see everything, and like super good athlete, but I don't know how much of that will develop the instinct part wise, but like he could be a decent special teams player, but you don't want to draft that in the 3rd round.
No.
I gave him a B though. I love that they're going out and they're getting Bryce Young guys. Like they traded up for Leggett after he said they were going to draft him at 33. I am worried Carolina somehow does flub it up and they don't properly utilize him. Like let that dude be a yak guy, develop, get him manufactured touches. Like he's that dangerous in space, real big, fast guy. Sanders in the 4th round, great value. I wasn't as high on him as consensus, but at 101, he was like the 3rd or 4th. He was the 4th or 5th tight end taken.
I believe so, yeah.
Gives Carolina a unique weapon. They haven't had at tight end since Greg Olsen. So they're bringing in pieces for Bryce Young. They brought in Deontay Johnson. They signed a bunch of offensive linemen. Now they got Jonathan Brooks here in the draft with Leggett and Jatavian Sanders. Jonathan Brooks likely, like you said, knocks Miles Sanders out of town. Carolina got a workhorse back now. Crumeny and Barrett, they're fine value in the 6th, 7th round. I didn't like Barrett as much as you did. The Trevin Wallace pick really brought this down a bit. Like I had it teetered between a B. I'm sorry, I gave it a B minus. I said B, between a B minus and C plus. But otherwise, like Chow Smith Wade in the 5th, I really liked him. I think he's gonna be a really good piece there on the defensive side of the ball with J.C. Horn. But yeah, a B minus. I am worried about David Tepper though. Like that's more the problem. It's Carolina, not the players.
Exactly. It's all of the organization and just not getting this done right. And looking at this draft class, I had it equal with Minnesota's. I would go back and change Minnesota's to a C plus. They had a better draft class than Carolina, so I would definitely make that swap.
But yeah, Tepper,
not a fan of this draft.
Tepper's one of those pieces where like he's an owner who has a lot of money, but you just kind of want him to step back. But the hat thing, if you've seen the video,
I have not, so I didn't get that reference at all.
So there was a restaurant in Carolina that said, "Please let the coaches and GM pick." And David Tepper went into this restaurant. He's the owner of the Panthers.
Oh my God!
And asked to speak to the manager. And the manager came out and had a hat on. And he took this man's hat off his head.
Nah,
why? What an insane thing.
What are we doing here?
A wild man. Like he worries me more than these players. I like Dave Canellis as a coach. I think Bryce Young does take a step up this year. I mean, it pretty much has to because he was bad last year. Like it'd be hard for him to not move forward. But I like what they're doing here this offseason.
I agree. They're definitely putting in what seems to be the right steps taken. But dude, Tepper he's a wild card dude, and I don't know. I don't trust it.
He threw a drink at that fan too last year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
he's crazy.
He's crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to save this one for last, but we're gonna go to it. The Atlanta Falcons, 1st round, Michael Penix Jr., quarterback, Washington. 2nd round, Rook Arororo, interior defensive lineman, Clemson. 3rd round, Braylon Trice, edge, Washington. 4th round, Brandon Dorless, defensive line, Oregon. 5th round, J.D. Bertrand, linebacker, Notre Dame. 3 6th-round picks, Jace McClellan, running back, Alabama. Casey Washington, wide receiver, Illinois. And Zion Logue, the interior defensive lineman from Georgia.
Hey, man, I'm really glad Michael Penix went over J.J. McCarthy. So let's start with that. I'm thrilled that the NFL got. I love that they got it right, and they seen Penix as the real quarterback that he is, and the hard work that he put in. And I'm so happy that this dude got to hear his name as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, and this guy won't get to see the fucking field for 5 fucking years, dude.
And it wasn't even just Atlanta who wanted him. Like
No,
Vegas was
teams
trying to
wanted
trade
him,
up
dude.
the Saints,
Yeah.
the Seahawks. Like he was a hot commodity. So it's not just like Atlanta just making an insane pick of Penix at 8. Like there was serious want and desire for Michael Penix, and I wish Atlanta would have traded the pick. I do.
They took arguably the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft over Caleb Williams. This dude's ready to play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's older. He's going to be 24, 25 in a couple months. And then he has to sit for at least 2 to 3 years. What are we doing here?
It made no sense.
He deserves to play, dude.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins, though, did you see the report that came out on why he chose Atlanta over Minnesota?
No, I would assume it's because they didn't have a future quarterback.
Minnesota told him they were drafting a quarterback in the first round, and that's why he went to Atlanta, because he didn't want that. And then they did it. They did it, and they had no need to do it.
As far Kirk Cousins has always made it clear that he just wants stability in his job. He wants to know that he's your guy, so he doesn't have to focus on losing his job, and he can put all of his focus on the team and what needs to be done. And now he has this huge, constant Michael Penix breathing down his neck. It doesn't. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it
whatsoever. Like, if they would have taken McCarthy, I would have liked the pick more.
I would have been fine with it.
But what did you end up giving him?
I gave him a C.
I gave him a C also. Yep.
I like Rook. You like Rook, but you took him over Johnny Newton. What the hell? What are you doing? I like Brandon Trice. I like Brandon Dorless. Those are 2 really solid picks, I think. J.D. Barton's a good linebacker. He adds good depth to the special teams, I think. And Jace McCullough adds good depth to the running back teams that you didn't need to add depth to.
No, so Atlanta loves having multiple running backs, but McClellan, I liked McClellan's tape.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like it.
I wonder if they try to move Algier next offseason, try to see if there's any value in him, because he could start somewhere.
Yeah, he's a 1,000-yard back his rookie year. He showed good promise, and then you drafted a running back at 8 with Bijan. So, Atlanta knows what they're doing. Thumbs up.
Their GM might be toast. The Casey Washington pick in the 6th round, why?
I didn't even want to address it. He's not worth addressing.
Yep. Super duper undrafted grade on that guy. Yeah. I love Rook. I wouldn't have taken him over Johnny Newton. It's like they took and they didn't address any positions of need. They didn't take a corner.
Yeah, there's no corners taken. They did take a receiver, but it was an undrafted bum in the 6th. I don't understand what Atlanta's doing here.
And Trice are super similar, play style, and so is Rook. Rook's a leaner interior guy.
Yeah.
So you drafted 3 guys who virtually have the same skill set. You drafted a quarterback in the 1st round who's going to make no real impact on this team right away. You drafted a running back who's not going to see the field. He might be a returner. And then you drafted a bum, undrafted guy, in my eyes, in Casey Washington, who doesn't have, the production at all to even match any sort of tape. I saw nothing of value in him.
There was a better Illinois receiver on the board at that point, and they drafted this bum, dude.
He ended up in Detroit as an undrafted free agent.
Indeed.
Zion Logue, undrafted grade on him, 6th round, but again, another interior defensive lineman. The draft made 0 sense. None whatsoever. It's just let's get people talking about us. That's what it felt like. Let's put eyes on Atlanta. Anyone who had a bad draft, I gave him a C solely based on the players because I liked them, but draft wise, this could be an F.
It could be 100%. The draft process is
make
an
an
F.
impact right away. Trice and Dorless will be fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
But Rook, them 3, they're all similar style. I just can't wrap my head around it. Atlanta, I don't know what you're doing. Terry Fountain now is about to lose his job.
Well, it doesn't help that they're in a division that they could take. They could walk away with this division
easily.
They're in such a win now window, and then you just spent the 8th pick on Michael Penix, who we love, and we're not going to say any type of ill word on Michael Penix. All the ill words are to the Falcons' bum-ass GM and their dumb-ass coaching staff.
Yeah,
Fuck Atlanta.
I don't get it. My favorite thing is that Michael Penix got drafted in the top 10. Nothing. The work putting into watching Penix and be like, this guy's it. Like, I don't know. You can talk about the injuries and every other flaw you have, but like he's an NFL made quarterback, and I don't know if we get to see that now because
I remember
he might be
texting you.
30.
Yeah, I remember texting you watching Penix play. It wasn't watching tape. I was just watching a Washington game, and I texted you. I'm like,
It was the Texas game.
He might be the best quarterback in the draft. I'm like, he legitimately might be better than Caleb Williams. He throws the prettiest deep ball I've ever seen in my life, dude.
I've been on Penix since the summer. Like I'm about it. I'm so happy, but I just don't get why Atlanta didn't move back. Let him.
It kills me.
They would have got a haul because you got the quarterback tax.
Yep.
And they would have just bettered themselves in a win now window, and they just I can't wrap my head around it.
They dropped the ball all around.
Let's move on. Good players, bad drafting.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to the Saints. First round, Talise Fuanga, offensive tackle, Oregon State. Second round, Kool-Aid McKinstry, corner, Alabama. 3 fifth-round picks, Spencer Rattler, quarterback, South Carolina. Bub Means, wide receiver, Pittsburgh. Jalen Ford, linebacker, Texas. 6th round, Christian Boyd, the interior defensive lineman from Northern Iowa. And in the 7th round, Josiah Ezerim, the offensive tackle from Eastern Kentucky. This is an A draft for me, dude. Like, that they're the only team who I listed none for my least favorite pick. Like, I could say Ezerim in the 7th, but like,
sure, it's a 7th round pick. It doesn't matter.
What a way to start off the draft. Talise Fuanga getting you help on the offensive line that was desperately needed, and then to get Kool-Aid McKinstry in the 2nd round, and then they wait and wait and wait. And they get Spencer Rattler in the 5th, who took a fall, and like I get like apparently he fell because of that Netflix documentary from when he was like in high school. But Derek Carr is not the answer future-wise. No. Like Spencer Rattler falls into a situation where he could be the quarterback in a few years.
Yeah.
Jalen Ford, Bub Means, great value in the 5th round as well. Like Bub Means, he could be their wide receiver 3 this year.
Big Nick.
It's going to be a battle between him and A.T. Perry. I love Christian Boyd. Almost had him in my top 100. Getting him in the 6 at 199. I thought this class rocked. Minimal selections, but I thought they hit on each one.
Yeah, I gave it an A minus. It was very minimal, like the Giants class, but I think they hit a little bit better prospects. Fuanga, I love. He's going to make a dominant offensive lineman for New Orleans. Kool-Aid adds great value at 41. He could have went in the 1st. He should have went in the 1st. Spencer Rattler at 150. He was a top 100 guy for me. So I like the pick there. You mentioned Bub Memes. Dog. I love that guy. And yet another top 100 guy. He was ranked 88th. Jalen Ford, I had him ranked over Trevin Wallace, who Carolina picked, and they got him 100 spots later. Christian Boyd at 199. Great value. A minus, yeah, for me. New Orleans knocked it out the park, brother.
Yeah. What a fantastic job the Saints did with minimal capital, and maybe gets boosted up a bit because it was the draft class I graded after Atlanta. But for real though, I don't think so. I loved what New Orleans did.
They had 4 top 100 guys for me, so I dig the draft class.
All right, rounding out that division is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 1st round, Graham Barton, offensive lineman from Duke. 2nd round, Chris Braswell, edge rusher, Alabama. 3rd round, 2 picks, Tyke Smith, safety nickelback from Georgia, and Jalen McMillan, wide receiver from Washington. 4th round, Bucky Irving, running back, Oregon. And 6th round, Elijah Klein, interior lineman from UTEP. And 7th round, athletic tight end, Devin Culp from Washington. How'd you feel about Tampa?
I didn't mind it at all. I gave it a good B+. They got Graham Barton, one of my favorite prospects all offseason. I love Graham Barton. I can't say a bad thing about him. He's going to be a great Tampa Bay Buck for the next 10 years. Chris Braswell is a decent pick. I don't mind it.
All's well that Braswell.
Whatever.
That's the new Tampa slogan, baby.
I don't mind it. Tyke Smith, good versatility at the safety position. I like the pick. I was interested to see what receiver Tampa Bay would end up targeting because I figured they were going to get one. They got Trey Palmer last year. And with both guys getting a little bit older above him, they got Jalen McMillan. I think he's a good fit, a little bit injury concern, but I think he could pan out a little bit well. And Bucky Irvin, dude, I love that guy. He was a top 4 running back for me. I had him ranked 75. I love him and White together in Tampa, dude. I think they're going to knock it out the park together.
I gave it a straight B. Bucky Irving, at 125, insane value. I'm still sticking to my guns on Bucky Irving, and like you said, perfect compliment to Rashad White. He's more of a, sounds so weird because Bucky Irving's so small. He's more of a ground and pound, work between the tackles, work along the outside. Whereas Rashad White's kind of gets 3 yards a carry, but he can do so much in the passing game. Graham Barton, what a stud. He's going to be the center day one there in Tampa. What a great get there.
Yes, sir.
Chris Braswell's fine, good athlete. I think Todd Bowles is going to really like him, but I'm not overly hyped with that. Tyke Smith, great value in the third. Like, I had a top 100 grade on Tyke Smith. I think he's going to be great in Tampa. Jalen McMillan, I think, is going to thrive. Like, I think he's gonna take over for Trey Palmer as the 3, and I think Chris Godwin's days are almost like he might be out this year, next year. Like, we could see Godwin moved in the all.
I kind of feel this is Godwin's last season in Tampa. I can feel it for sure. Yeah,
but like Palmer has that same sort of skill set, like deep guy that Mike Evans is, and McMillan works the intermediate like Chris Godwin does. So I thought that was a nice little pairing there. Is Trey Palmer big?
I don't know
Trey Palmer's
I don't
6
think
foot
so.
193. But his play style is more, he's deep threat guy. He's not the big body guy. But like, it wasn't nothing really out of this world, but like, I think the Bucky Irving pick's great. I think the Graham Barton pick's great. I like Tyke Smith. I think Jalen McMillan's going to do great there. Braswell, it's whatever. I know I'm a lot lower on him than most. I think he's more athlete than edge rusher. 7th round, Devin Culp. I didn't really have a draftable grade on him, but against the 7th round, take a flyer on a freak athletic tight end. And I didn't watch anything on Elijah Klein, so I can't really speak on him either. All right, final division. The NFC West will start here with the Arizona Cardinals.
Run it up.
This is a long one. All right, here we go.
This is a lot of picks.
First round, 2 picks. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State, and edge rusher, defensive lineman, Darius Robinson from Missouri. Second round, Max Melton, corner, Rutgers. 3/3, Trey Benson, running back, Florida State. Isaiah Adams, interior lineman, Illinois. Tip Raymond, tight end, Illinois. 4/3, Elijah Jones, corner, Boston College. 4th round, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, safety, Texas Tech. 2/5, Xavier Thomas, edge rusher, Clemson. Christian Jones, offensive tackle, Texas. 6th round, Tejuan Palmer, wide receiver, UAB. And 7th round, Jaden Davis, corner, Miami, Florida.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I give it a B+. They hit on a lot of it. Marvin Harrison, he was player 1 on my board. They got him. They got Kyler a weapon, which is what we've been saying they need to do. Trey Benson in the 3rd gets to sit behind James Conner, maybe even gets to play. James Conner has injury history.
He's Melton, playing, baby.
I love that guy. Like, I've been on the Max Melton hype train for a long time. I'm in on it. He gives them a starting corner. I thought Darius Robinson was a bit of a reach, but he's a good fit for what Jonathan Gannon wants to do there. Elijah Jones, I liked him more and more through the process. I think he's a good nickel, backup nickel. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, ball hawker, super ball. I think he's going to be real fun. Maybe is the eventual takeover player for Budda Baker, who's always going to be getting traded.
Hey, man, I hear that guy's getting traded.
Yep, we'll see. Isaiah Adams, they took him a little earlier than I would have, but good rotational piece, can play tackle, but I think he's going to be a really good guard. He's actually slotted in currently as their starting guard, so we'll see. But Tip Raymond, oof.
Just the tip, baby.
He was just the tip. He thinks birds are fake. He was the second tight end.
What?
He's the guy from Birds Are Government Drones from the Combine.
Oh, no. That's my joke.
He was the 3rd tight end picked. Like, he's a blocker, like real strong moving guy, but like he's not going to provide much in the receiving game.
No.
And then you already got a really good tight end in Trey McBride, so that pick didn't make much sense. Christian Benson, Trey Benson, what a dog! Like, I love that pick. They got Marv and Alpha, CB1 and Melton. I also liked Christian Jones. Like, 5th round's good value for him. I wasn't like overly high on him, but 4th, 5th round is where I had him graded out as, and gives you good depth at tackle. But yeah, Tip Raymond, move this from a B plus to an A, or A to a B plus?
Yeah, I look at the Tip Raymond pick, and it is definitely horrendous. But I gave him an A minus. They have so many good like hits in this draft, and they do have some. But when you have so many picks, you can kind of just fuck around and find out. It is what it is, and I kind of respect that.
I'm just glad they made the picks instead of moving, because they love to move.
Yeah. Oh, they love to move, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna make all 30 picks." I love Marv. I landed in a great spot. Him and Kyle are gonna ball out, dude. I can't wait to watch it. Darius Robinson's a dog, dude. I cannot wait to see how he develops. I think he's gonna pan out very well. Max Milton, huge TJ guy, very athletic. I love the addition in the secondary. They landed our running back one. He was yours as well, right? He was mine.
Mm-hmm.
Both for our running back one. James Conner misses 2 to 3 games every single year. Trey Benson's going to take his job. If not, it's going to be his job next year. Isaiah Adams is a nice prospect, a little bit of a reach, but again, fuck around and find out. It is what it is. Tip Raymond's a huge reach, but sure, he's a 6 offensive lineman.
I barely had Tip Raymond in my top 200.
I don't even know if I did. He's an offensive lineman. He drafted a 6 offensive lineman to run the ball. I love Elijah Jones. I love him and Melton together. They're both good berry pickups. Taylor, Demerson, Ball Hawk, we mentioned it. A little undersized, but great value at that point. Xavier Thomas and Chandler Jones, real good picks. Tajuan Palmer, that's why I'm getting these names mixed up. Tajuan Palmer, the receiver, is nice depth. They hit a bunch of holes. They got a lot of spots addressed.
They did.
They know what they were doing this draft.
Yep. They addressed pretty much every need they needed, and had they picked somebody different than Tip Raymond at 382, I might be the best draft class.
Understandable. But Arizona's they're gonna be a fun little team. I fuck around with them.
All right, Seattle. First round, they took Byron Murphy the second, interior defensive lineman from Texas. Third round, Christian Haynes, interior offensive lineman, UConn. 2-4, Tyrese Knight, linebacker, UTEP. AJ Barner, tight end, Michigan. Fifth round, Nehemiah Pritchett, corner, Auburn. 3 6-rounders, Sataoa Lemeu, interior offensive lineman, Utah. DJ James, corner, Auburn. And Michael Jarrell, offensive tackle from Findlay. What'd you give Seattle?
I gave them a straight B. I didn't hate what they did. I don't really mind what they did. It is what it is. It's a decent draft class around.
Yep.
I do like Byron Murphy, though. He's a good game changer from the defensive line. I think he's going to fit real well with Seattle's defensive line. And
him and Leonard Williams are going to wreak havoc.
Oh, yeah, dude. Christian Haynes, huge TJ guy, real dog. He fits a real brutal style in Seattle, so I kind of fuck with it. AJ Barner, I really like. He's a good tight end 2. He could be a tight end 1 some places, but I kind of like the pick. Pritchett adds good speed to their secondary. And I love what they did in the 6th. They had a good offensive line depth. And then DJ James, I had ranked a little bit higher than Pritchett, so I love him in the 6th. Grabbing both the guys from Auburn, right? They're the Auburn kids. So
2 of the 3 Auburn guys. That's
cool. Keep the kids together. Yep. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Classic Seahawks draft, though. Just real focus on the trenches early. You got a defensive lineman in Byron Murphy. You got Christian Haynes. And then they grabbed developmental defensive backs. Like both Pritchett and James have size concerns. They're a little smaller, but they get to sit behind Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon and just be impact players on special teams. I love Christian Haynes. That dude's an absolute dog. He's going to be a menace on that O-line with Abe Lucas and Charles Cross. I thought that's a great get. He's going to be a starter day one. Murphy with Leonard Williams on the defensive line.
Crazy, dude.
Let's have fun there. Like, I think freaking Mike McDonald's going to have a field day with that. I liked Tyrese Knight. I had a 6th round grade on him, so they did take him a little early, but really athletic. So we'll see how he develops there. But overall, like, I thought it was a solid B class. AJ Barner ends up in a really weak tight end room.
Yeah, man.
Noah Fant, he ain't gonna scare people away. Pharaoh Brown, no thank you. Like, AJ Barner could be the starting tight end down the line here for this team this season. We'll see. But overall, classic Seahawks meat and potatoes draft B.
Yeah, man. It was fine. They knew what they were doing. They hit holes.
All right. The Los Angeles Rams finally made a first-round pick in the Sean McVay era, and it was Jared Verse, the edge rusher, Florida State. Second round, they took his teammate Braden Fisk, the interior defensive lineman from Florida State. 2/3, Blake Corum, running back, Michigan. Cam Kinchins, safety from Miami. Brennan Jackson, the edge rusher, Washington State in the 5th. 4 6th-round picks here. Tyler Davis, interior defensive lineman from Clemson. Joshua Carty, kicker, Stanford. Jordan Whittington, wide receiver, Texas. Bew Limmer, center, Arkansas. And then the 7th, KT Leviston from Kansas State, the offensive guard tackle combo. I gave the Rams a B.
A B.
A B.
Okay.
Here we go. You're either giving it like it's an A+ for you, brother. Rams always real solid drafting despite not having first round picks. Jared Verse, great get at 19. They drafted Braden Fisk way higher than I had him. I don't even know if he was in my top 60, and they got him at 39. Like, it was a cool story. I love the video. I love the video of Jared Verse and him bonding over, like, it's cool. I love it, but like, I'm not here for moments. I'm here for where he drafted guys. The Blake Corum pick, like, he went right about where we had him ranked, but I don't get it because you have Kyron Williams. So like, and the Rams
they're different.
But the Rams are a classic. Sean McVay just wants one running back. Like, the backup doesn't really eat into the starter's time. So like, Blake Corum might just be sitting and hoping Kyron Williams gets hurt.
Blake Corum kind of moves lines, baby.
So does Kyron Williams, dude.
Hey, man, I'm not saying he doesn't. Not saying
Cam Kinchins at 99. Out. I love that. Real ball hawker, moves around defense. Brennan Jackson, great value in the 5th. I almost had a top 100 grade on him. Bew Limmer in the 6th as well, really good. KT Leviston, a guy who I rose up in the process in the 7th, great depth. B here. B+, sorry. I think I said B at the beginning, but it was a B+.
You did say B, and that's a little bit okay. I gave them an A-, so that's why I was like, B to A- is kind of a decent gap. I like the Jared Verse pick. You're a little higher on him than I am, but I do like the pick. I like that they didn't force the interior defensive line need with instead of going. Yeah, I like that they went edge instead of interior at what they go 19, I think. I do like the pick, and I do like Brandon Fisk. It was a little bit early, I do admit that, but I love the reconnection. Again, both guys back in LA, big fan. And man, I wasn't the highest on Blake Corum. But hey, man, he's a super productive running back. He always gets the job done. He moves piles for being small. I'm not saying he's going to steal Kyron Williams' job, but he's taking some carries, dude. I think they're going to be running. They're going to run. I honestly think it's not going to be close in carries, but it's going to be some. Blake Corum's fine. Cameron Kitchens, dude, if his tape pans out to 2022, they got arguably the steal of the draft, brother. And it's going to be fun because I honestly think he's going to pan out and he's going to.
They also got your boy as an undrafted free agent, Kenny Logan Jr.
Oh yeah, let's go, baby! Hell yeah! And addressing the D line in the 5th and 6th, that's really where you've seen Brandon Jackson, big fan. Tyler Davis, interior, but you've really seen the impact of losing Aaron Donald, dude. They went defensive line throughout this draft, and it's gonna take all 4 or 5 defensive linemen they drafted to replace that one man. He is a true GOAT.
It's going to be interesting with Verse because he's never really been a stand-up rusher, and that's what he's going to be doing in LA. So we'll see, but they got some real good football players.
Yeah, man.
Jordan Whittington, though,
I was just going to bring up. You hated it.
Really? I do not like his tape. Undrafted grade,
physical as hell, bro.
Yep,
I fuck with it. No, I think he fits the Rams. I think he's a real Rams receiver. He's gonna block.
I don't think he makes the team.
I don't know, dude. He's real Hines Ward's out there, dude. He's a dog, bro. I think he makes that team. I love the way they ended the draft, though, dude. Yeah, they did.
Cardi party, baby.
Yeah, 209 Joshua Carty, Stanford. Dude, I love Bew Limmer and KT Levinson at the end of the draft. I think they're both 2 rotational starters. Dude, the Rams had a dope draft. I had A-. I think they nailed this shit out the park, bro.
I was going to try looking up to see how many carries the Rams' number 1 running back got percentage-wise of the team, but I just couldn't find it handily available, so I don't want to hold up because we're pushing time here. Last team, the San Francisco 49ers. First round, Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida. Second round, Renardo Green, corner, Florida State. Third round, Dominic Puny, guard, Kansas. 3 fourth-round picks, Malik. I'm not sure which one it is. Malik.
I believe it's Malik.
Malik Mustafa, safety, Wake Forest. Isaac Guerrero, running back, Louisville. Jacob Cowing, wide receiver, Arizona. 6th round, Jarek Kingston, guard, USC. 7th round, Tatum Bethune, linebacker, Florida State. What'd you go for here for the 49ers?
We gave him a B. It was all right. I didn't really see much in. I love Ricky Pearsall. I love that they had the balls to go receiver at 31 and not trade Brandon Ayuk. They're like, fuck that. You want to get traded? Maybe, but we're taking your replacement at 31, so deal with it. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to fit into that offense wonderfully. And I'm not huge on Brock Purdy, so you have to keep getting that guy's weapons. If you plan on dipping Ayuk, you got to get a replacement. And I think Ricky Pearsall could be that guy. I do like Ronaldo Green. He's a good secondary guy. San Fran really struggled with their secondary late in the year, and it really showed. So I think Ronaldo Green can step in and make a huge impact. Puny adds good line depth, can play multiple spots across the line, so I get the pick. Malik Mustafa is physical as shit, dude. He'll hit anyone's head off.
Real 49ers pick in Mustafa.
Yeah, for sure. He plays downhill hard. And Guerrero fits San Fran's style. I really think he could be the backup quick. I think him and McCaffrey, I'm not saying he's taking any type of carries, but I do think he's going to end up being the RB2 in San Fran.
I think you can count Elijah Mitchell's days as numbered with Guerrero, who's going to be a menace in the return game. Like, that's where he's going to be right there. I do have the Kieran Williams thing. He had 76.3% of the Rams carries last year, which was 7th among running backs. Josh Jacobs was one, if you care to know. He had 90% of the Raiders carries.
And
the 49ers,
and he still looked like shit last year.
Yeah. The Niners, I gave a C+. Like, I love seeing Sticky Ricky go first round. Like, that was super cool. Like, great tape. Like, his process. No one had a better draft process than Ricky Pearsall from the wide receiver position. I like Ronaldo Green. I think he could be a starter. I really like Dominic Puny. I wish the Niners would have addressed line before the 3rd round, because that was a big need, but he's going to be their starting guard. Mustafa and Guerrero in the 4th, real good value. Mustafa just feels like a 49er. Great hitter.
Yeah, dude.
Just real, disruptor out there, and Guerrero's going to do damage as a returner and probably the future backup. Other than that, Kingston Bethune, the late round picks. Like, I like Jacob Cowing's tape, but I don't know where he falls in here now.
Yeah.
He's a smaller guy, so I think he's going to sit and maybe end up being the 3 if they move on from Ayuk or Samuel. But I don't know how much of an impact he really makes going forward there. But they got weapons for Brock Purdy. I love Dominic Puny. I hope he works out, but I would have rearranged things. I would have went offensive lineman earlier.
I agree.
But overall, decent. Like, those first 5 guys, I think, could make an impact. Guerrero, Mustafa, Puny, Green, Pearsall. But C+. Nothing flashy, but decent value there.
Understandable. Yeah, I fucked with it.
Yeah, so
decent draft for that division, for sure. I loved how many guys got drafted for the return game. The new kick return rules have completely changed the draft again. And you've seen it. So many draft specialists got drafted, and it's changing lives, dude. These guys wouldn't have been drafted 2-3 years ago, and now they're getting the chance to actually show what they can do.
It just adds another I love it. Dynamic to an NFL roster where, like, having a return specialist is a serious spot now.
Yeah, it's needed.
But there we got it. Draft grades in the books. We're done. Done with this year's draft class for now in terms of scouting and drafting. But now we're going to talk fantasy football next week, as we're going to do our quarterback and running back rookie dynasty rankings. So, and then the following week, we're going to do wide receiver, tight end. So we're still going to be talking about these rookies for a little bit longer, but now we're going to focus in on them from a fantasy standpoint. So,
oh yeah, dude.
Mindset might change on some guys where we might be higher or lower on them based on where they ended up. So can't wait to do that. As always, guys, thank you for supporting the show. You know where to find us. Twitter, @DraftedUp_pod, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good jazz. Search Drafted Up Podcast. You guys you're all one. We love you guys. Thank you. You guys are G's. Stay alert, stay alive out there. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. Adios.